Eyewitness Sports.
Welcome in for episode 7 of WPRI Double OT with Yianni and Mark. He is Mark Dondera. I'm Yianni Caracas, taping this on a Thursday evening. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Why do you always tell them what day we're taping it?
Because if
Just
things
let them
feel
think
dated,
it's the day they're watching it.
things feel dated. You know,
Right.
we're going to do some NBA stuff and some stuff that may be irrelevant in a few days for those watching at home. All right, we're going to start with the Red Sox, and it's no secret that the young guys on this team have had breakout seasons. Xander Bogaerts, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts. The Killer Bees, is that what you're calling them? Did you coin that?
No, well, I remember from the Houston Astros, Bagwell,
Bagwell,
Biggio, Bell. I just, it worked. I
Far
probably
less
wasn't the one that
steroids
coined
with
that.
these guys, probably.
Probably, hopefully.
So the question is, as we look ahead to the future, are all three of these guys untouchable, meaning the Red Sox need to lock them up for life, or any of these guys potential trade bait? Do you see all three spending the bulk of their careers in a Boston uniform?
I do not think that they are untouchables, any of them.
Okay.
I don't think any of them are untouchable. But the first one I would look to trade if we were going to go down that road would be Jackie Bradley Jr. He's a little older. He's had some issues with that swing before. It's a long swing. Now, he's certainly figured it out, and I love the player. But he's not a guy where I would not listen to any offers, especially in a situation like we saw, Hanley Ramirez once upon a time. They traded him and essentially traded him. He turned into a good player, especially early in his career with the Marlins and then the Dodgers, but they traded him for a World Series. They got Mike Lowell and Josh Beckett.
Was Hanley an established big leaguer at that point?
He wasn't an established big leaguer, but
Similar upside.
he had the upside. He probably was a little younger than Bradley is now. What I'm saying is, though, I would trade Bradley if I thought it was going to get me horses that would win me a title right now.
All right, I think all of it is circumstantial. Like if you're a pitcher away or a player away, obviously it changes the circumstance. Bogaerts, 100% untouchable.
You like him that much?
Love Bogaerts. Leads the league in average right now. Plays a good shortstop. He's got some pop. Bradley Jr., you can have. I think he's great, having a great year, but I would trade him for the right package. And Betts, I'd listen, but it'd have to really, knock me over in terms of a deal that would elevate my team. So Bogaerts is untouchable. Betts I'd listen to, but I want to keep him as a core member. Bradley Jr., I'd be willing to trade. But then again, what are the pieces? If you can get a Josh Beckett who's going to put you over and win you a World Series, but once these guys become established, how do you think they prioritize contract? I mean, Bogaerts is going to get a huge
Somebody's
deal.
going to pay him. I agree with you that Xander Bogaerts is a stud. I agree with it. I just wouldn't say he's untouchable, mainly because the Red Sox have won 3 World Series with garbage at shortstop. They do not need a shortstop,
and this
especially an elite one, to win a World Series.
True. And this is an interesting debate because baseball is in a sport a lot where like studs are traded. Usually it's for veterans, for younger guys, or you just lose guys in free agencies. You don't see like a swap like in the EMBA, a trade.
It'd be interesting to see if a
guys.
guy like Bryce Harper gets traded because I'm saying the Yankees, because the Nationals might not think they could sign him if he signs with the Yankees, so we'll have to wait and see. Still a few years away on that. Okay, so the Red Sox, obviously the big summer theme here, but the Patriots, we found out this week when training camp will begin. That'll be on July 27th.
You have to work that day. I think you're live in Foxborough.
Okay. First practice open to the public will be July 28th. The question is, a little later in August, they'll have joint practices with the Bears. And forgive me, I'm forgetting the other team. Who's the other one they're going to?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Do you like joint practices, and should the Patriots specifically have joint practices?
So I
with other
understand
teams?
why Bill Belichick does it. It breaks up the monotony of training camp, lets you look at a different team, tackle someone other than your teammates. But if I'm Bill Belichick, the smartest guy in the room, the smartest organization of the 32 NFL teams, why am I allowing our competitors to even sniff at what we do that makes us so successful? I remember a Redskin player when the Patriots went down to Richmond, Virginia, I think it was 2 summers ago now, to practice with the Redskins, saying, oh, God, they're totally different. Like, just running from one drill to another, everyone's full speed where maybe the Redskins weren't. So I think a lot of it's effort and structure and timing and organization, but even stuff like that, I think, why let another team, like, peek into what you do?
I pretty much disagree with everything you just said.
All right.
I think that the Patriots absolutely should do joint practices. Obviously, for the stuff you mentioned, it breaks up the monotony of training camp. It adds some spice to the competition that you see every day, and you can learn something about your players. But, there's other very good reasons that they should partake in these joint practices. Namely, you get a look at guys that you might want to acquire down the road. You see how they approach practice. I think Akeem Hicks was a guy that when they had a joint practice with the Saints, I think a few years ago, they got to look at him. He caught their eye, and then boom, he's a big member of a Super Bowl winning team, or was he on that team? He was a big member of the team last year when he was here. So I don't think he was on the Super Bowl team, but he was a big piece to the team last year. So that's a guy that they came to know during a joint practice. And the other thing is, you could learn something from other coaches, whatever.
True.
But if you want to know about the Patriots, I don't think joint practice, first of all, they're not showing their entire hand. And second of all, if you want to learn about the Patriots, baby, they have books. They have other ways that you can learn.
Did you just call me baby?
For example, if I did, I didn't mean to. Steve Kerr, head coach of the Golden State Warriors, just talked about how he read a book on the Patriots, which talked about the philosophy they have, the way they do business, the way they run the organization. So if you want insight into how the Patriots
Rain book was great.
It wasn't that book. It was Chris Price, WEI.com. It was his book. I forget the name of the book. But
I tell you what you said, learning about other teams too. I give Bill Belichick credit for always still learning at his advanced age, being in the league for like the play, the stacking the multiple linemen. He got from, Urban Meyer or an Alabama game he saw on an SEC network or whatever. So I think, maybe Bill's still learning and picking stuff up from other teams too. So I think that's good he does that.
All right, so let's go to the Boston Celtics. We're going back to, I guess this would be a summer kind of event, the NBA free agency, trading, all that goes on during the summer months in basketball. There was a rumor that Danny Ainge met with the agent of Kevin Love and Harrison Barnes, two players currently playing in the NBA Finals. And, that would make you think that the Celtics would be interested in those guys. Should they be interested in guys like Kevin Love and Harry Barnes?
Yes, because the Celtics need more A, B minus players, whatever you consider these guys. Listen, Kevin Love's had a terrible finals. He's missed with a concussion. He had 3 rebounds the other day and 3 points. I like the stat, the big 3. Kyrie Irving, LeBron, and Kevin Love amounted for 84 points, 41, 41, and 2. Listen, Kevin Love, I think, with a fresh start and a new system, still has the tools to be a good player. I think his relationship and role with the Cavs is soured. I don't think he's always been on LeBron's best side. We all know LeBron runs the Cavaliers from top to bottom. I would like Kevin Love. Do I think he is the player he was when he was 25 and 13 for Minnesota? No, but I still think he's a good player. And listen, the Celtics can't get picky at this point. You need good players. Like, we know where they are with this list of C players. You need some A and B players. Harrison Barnes too. And the Celtics, their salary cap right now, they're way up. They can afford to get a max. Like, is Harrison Barnes a max player? No, but he's going to get max money. So pay Harrison Barnes max money, or don't spend the money and don't have a good player. Does that make sense?
No, because I think that they should leave these guys alone. And
who's your roster? You need players.
You have Harrison Barnes at max money. Max. Absolutely not.
I don't think he deserves it, but what are you spending it on?
I'm no salary cap savant, but if you're going to, if at all, that could deter you from getting another guy, a real max player later, because you paid Harrison Barnes max money, there's no chance I would even entertain it. I don't like, let me rephrase that. I don't not like Harrison Barnes and Kevin Love as players. I think they're fine. I just don't want, they are complementary pieces when you have a cornerstone in place. Kevin Love worked great in Cleveland theoretically because LeBron James was in place. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green in place. So Harry Barnes is a nice complement to them. You feature him, maybe he flourishes in his own way because he has the stage to himself. But I have a very uneasy feeling about giving guys that aren't max players max money. It doesn't make sense to me. They're not max players. I don't know if I should get married just to get married, or do I fall in love and then get married? Is it because the clock is ticking?
If you get $10 to go to the if If you get your mom gives you $10 to go to the candy store and you don't like any of the candy, but you have $10, you're still going to spend it.
Let's see. I don't think I'd spend it. I'd wait till I spend it.
You're not getting Kevin Durant. You're not getting the king-size Twix
So,
bar.
so you'd rather just sit there and be mired in mediocrity for years because you have decent players and
you need to get better players. They're not the best, but you need to spend the money somewhere. I guess it's improving a little bit. You have to take what you can get. The Celtics aren't getting Kevin Durant, so overpay Harrison Barnes because it's better than Jay Crowder.
I'm all for spending the money. I just overpaying for somebody who's not worth the money doesn't make me feel good.
If you can show me a list of players for that same money that makes you a better team than Harrison Barnes, I'm with you on that, but
I don't see how overpaying for a guy sets you up for success.
All right, we're switching gears now to something that's become really popular in pop culture recently with the FX series OJ American Crime Story, and now the wildly popular ESPN. We're gonna get to OJ in a second. We're gonna stick with NBA. Stand by here.
LeBron James is wildly popular.
He is wildly popular. All right, LeBron James, as we tape this, 2-4 in NBA Finals heading into Game 6 tonight, so many who are listening may know the outcome to this. But hypothetically speaking, if the Cavs lose and LeBron falls to 2-5 in the Finals, you know, he's oftentimes talked about the Mount Rushmore of NBA, Pantheon, top 5, top 10 guy. Does this hurt his legacy, such a subpar Finals mark?
Of course it will. And the reason that it will is because the bar has been set at Michael Jordan. He is the gold standard, and it's not just America setting that bar. LeBron James set that bar. He talked about it when he was coming out of high school, the king. He wore number 23. He set the bar at Michael Jordan. He was going to be Michael Jordan, and we all know not 5, not 6, not 7. That comment has followed him his whole career since he made it. The bar is at Michael Jordan. He embraced that early on. No running from it now. So if you're 2-5 and counting, yeah, it doesn't help.
All right, it doesn't help his legacy, but I don't think it really hurts it. Michael Jordan is in his own stratosphere, 6-0. Larry Bird, 3-2 in Finals. Magic Johnson, 5-4. It's not one of those things other than Jordan where the top players, I mean, you throw Russell in there. Kareem lost Finals. Magic, Bird. Once you get multiple championships, I think your legacy is secure. So like John Elway was 0-3. Once he got 2, you kind of forgot about the 3. So furthermore, all the Cleveland series, the one in 07 versus San Antonio, this year and last year, Cleveland was actually the underdog. So, and then the Miami series, depending on how you looked at some of them with San Antonio, they weren't always the favorite. So he's underachieved in the NBA Finals, but I don't think it's been, you know, a 73-9 team that's lost in the Finals routinely. If they lose this year, then you're like, all right, they lost. But like LeBron, he's not Kobe, he's not Jordan. He doesn't have that killer mindset. I don't think winning really consumes him like those guys. So he's 1-2, and he's been to 7. We often talk about this with Tom Brady. He's 4-2, but people think Joe Montana has a better Super Bowl because he's 4-0, a perfect mark. So why is Brady penalized for winning 2 more AFC championship games? You know what I mean?
No,
I think it's a testament that he's gotten to 7. Obviously, you want a better mark than 2-5, but
that's a great point, and I'm with you in regards to Tom Brady. I have it written down. Tom Brady, because I have a soft spot for guys that get teams that have no business being in the title situation to the title situation. We all know that Patriots team that defense in 2011 had no business being in the Super Bowl. Brady got them there. Not in that AFC Championship game, but they were so good because Brady was so good. And LeBron has gotten teams there that probably shouldn't have been there. You can throw the lousy Eastern Conference into that. But I think as great of a player as LeBron James is, it feels awkward that he can't win a title without Dwayne Wade. I just think you could use one without Wade.
And Wade has one without him.
Wade was the guy on that team. It was his city, and LeBron had to go there. It would just, I think it would help him to win one without Wade.
And one with Cleveland ending that
Of
curse
course.
would be
But
monumental. He could go 3-9, but with one with Cleveland, I think he did his job.
At the end of the day, they're going to say LeBron James, 4 MVPs, 2-time world champion, 2 gold medals. They're not, that's the first thing people say.
How many championships did Jerry West lose? A ton.
Tons.
Right?
And he's
all
the logo.
The Lakers.
So.
He's the logo.
All right, go ahead with OJ now.
All right, back to O.J. Simpson. This documentary on ESPN, it's a 5-part, 7-hour thing. You and I are both getting into it. There's the FX show. So Why do you think the O.J. Simpson, not only the trial, but O.J. Simpson, the man, has resonated so much recently and obviously in 1994 with the murders and the subsequent hearing?
You know, when this happened, I remember asking my mom, like, why? I asked her that question. I said, why is this such a big deal? And she said to me, imagine if Emmitt Smith killed somebody. And then I got it, because I didn't, or O.J. Simpson, I didn't know anything. I can't answer that question because I don't know. But
I remember sitting there in elementary school when the verdict came. You don't remember that?
I remember that. And I remember how big it got. But what I didn't realize, and I'm beginning to realize, and to be honest, I haven't gotten through the full documentary. I don't think the full thing is aired. But I didn't realize how big of a figure he was, a star.
Athlete,
he was a
broadcaster.
Star. That's right.
He was famous. He was just famous for being an athlete. He was in all these car commercials, and I think it was the first reality show. I mean, if you've seen part of it where the NBA Finals was running on NBC and Bob Costas goes split screen to the Bronco chase, everyone was just captivated by this. And then the trial, so many twists and turns on TV, that became a reality show. And
not to mention Robert Kardashian, the Kardashian. I mean, there's
Johnny
so many
Croc,
names,
so many personalities, and obviously race is involved in Los Angeles with this this police department that had a really bad racial history. You had
Rodney King
going on, so there was a big racial component, and then a lot of people in the black community thinking that O.J. identified with the affluent white folks in Brentwood. So you had that whole dynamic, and just like it's a perfectly imperfect American.
You know what was
story.
amazing to me? And I thought of this and again, I didn't realize how good of a college football player he was, how good of an NFL football. I knew he was good. I didn't realize
2,000 yards rushing.
I didn't realize he was that. He was on the level of a LeBron James, of Peyton Manning. He was on that level. He was the star in this country. And I was thinking, while I was watching the beginning of this documentary, it reminded me a lot of Bruce Jenner and how this unbelievable athlete wasn't the person that everybody thought he was. O.J. Simpson, they build it up. He was a monster, but we build it up. Like, they build up the beginning part of this documentary. He's a nice guy. He's a humble guy, very well spoken at the beginning. But you're thinking to yourself I can't believe that guy turned into that guy. And Bruce Jenner, obviously was fighting his own. He had his own thing going on, so it's
kind of a crazy personal story. My parents, I've told you this, they knew O.J. Simpson.
Did you tell me that?
So the late 70s and early 80s, my parents owned a restaurant in Vail, and at the time, O.J. Simpson would visit. They had a mutual friend.
They have a picture, right?
They used to have it hanging up in the restaurant of my mom and dad, O.J. Nicole Brown, the most eerie thing. And they pretty much echoed what everyone said at the time. The most outgoing, generous. My mom had my older brother, and he just wrote a card, $300, congratulations. At that point, barely knew. And then with this he was just, by all accounts, psychotic, with Nicole, and so. And again, just a tragic story.
I haven't gotten through the documentary, so I haven't seen everything. From what I hear, the bag opens and it's just.
And then he gets off on the murder charge, but gets pinched for trying to steal back his memorabilia.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, fascinating.
All right, so let's go from there to golf.
Natural segue.
Yeah, the CVS Charity Classic, CVS Health Charity Classic, coming up in a few weeks. The field is out, and it's pretty impressive now that we've seen the full field. Do you have a favorite pairing, Yianni?
I do. I have two, actually. Can I give you two?
I actually have two, too, so go ahead.
The first, I think we'd probably agree on this, is Lexi Thompson and Bryson DeChambeau.
Wrote that one down.
Bryson DeChambeau, for those that don't know, is the next Jordan Spieth, I guess. Budding star. Had a great finish at the Masters last year. And he wears the scally hat, so he's got an interesting look. And all his club lengths are the same size, right?
I think I did hear that, yeah.
So
usually some of the clubs are different lengths.
His 9 and his 2 are the same length. He's got this new approach. Tall, strapping young man. So Brad Faxon and Billy Andreatt have done a really good job of getting guys right on the doorstep of them being stars. They did it with Bubba Watson and Ricky Fowler. So I think this guy could be a household name in a year or two, if not sooner, and we're going to see him. Lexi Thompson, I think, is top 5 on LPGA. She comes every year and is great. The other one, Jason Duffner and Paula Kramer. Duffner is a major champion. I love his kind of like just laid back. Remember the Duffnering thing. Paula Kramer, the Pink Panther. I'm a big fan of her game.
Okay.
I haven't seen her at the CVS since I've been here. So those are my 2, but mostly DeChambeau and Thompson.
I have a different pairing that I like. I like the Brandon Grace, Louis Oosthuizen pairing. South Africans. Louis Oosthuizen was here a few years back. I think it was 2013. Great sound bites. Not a big guy. So I like seeing him, and again, a major champion, won the Open Championship a few years ago. I like seeing him play because not big, but he makes shots. He's a shot maker. So because he's not that big, I can relate to that. I'm 5'9", and plus he's about my size. So I like watching him play, the ball flight. I think that's a pairing that I'll zero in on. And Lexi, you talked about that pairing. Let me just say one thing about Lexi Thompson, friend of this classic. She's been here every year, as you said. But what I love about Lexi Thompson, she is embracing Olympic golf, and I love that. I think it's what everybody should do. If you have a chance to play and put your country's name on the shirt, on your chest, you jump at that chance, and that's what she is doing. She talked about how she doesn't understand, and everybody has their own reasons, but she doesn't understand why some people have been so blasé about the Olympics. There are a lot of golfers who have backed out. In fact, I think Oosthuizen and a lot of those South Africans backed out, and they caught some flack from Gary Player because he's all about, it's
the sports that have major championships. It's tough that you see this in tennis too, where the Olympics become like second fiddle because their sport has their own championship.
But Lexi Thompson has embraced it. She can't wait to go. She's looking forward to it, and she's fired up about the Olympics, and I appreciate that in an athlete. I wish every athlete had her mentality.
Love
so
Lexi
go
Thompson.
Lexi.
All right, we finish off on this Sunday is Father's Day, so you're a father. You have a father. What are you looking forward to? What's your ideal Father's Day?
Well, my father, first off, he has this thing, he likes cards. Well, he doesn't like
Playing cards.
No, but like a greeting card, like Happy Father. He always gets cards. Well, he doesn't care. Funny. He always gets cards, so I feel like I got to get him a card.
I would think so.
Yeah, I respect the cards. As far as my Father's Day, it's nice to have a day where you can kind of not be lazy, but if I don't really want to change that diaper, hon, babe. I'm good on that one. You can take that one today.
So you have to get out of jail free card?
I will say on Father's Day sometimes, and maybe you can use this if you need to. Sometimes Father's Day is a good chance to build up a little equity.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'll clean those dishes. I'll wash those dishes. And she'll know. She'll think it's Father's Day, but he's still cleaning the dishes. And later, she'll remember that. Maybe. Hopefully.
You know what I used to do as a kid? Did you ever you have 5 chores to your parents, I'll do the dishes. I'll clean your car.
Yeah, we've done stuff like that.
Maybe some brunch I'd like.
Sure.
Maybe a tie or something, like a small gift. What am I getting my dad? So my dad just had a birthday. I gave him his birthday card late and said this is a combo birthday.
Ooh.
Father's Day card.
All right.
I'm going to have to get him something else.
Get him something.
What does he need? I'll think about this.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to think about that. The other thing about Father's Day, I enjoy it. It's convenient for me, a golf guy, that the U.S. Open, the final round is on Father's Day, because if I want to watch that for a little bit, usually I'm allowed to watch that. And also,
you have clicker.
If you feel like, ice cream, let's go get ice cream. You kind of.
And we'll probably get we both have 2-year-olds, the fingerprint.
I
Happy
love that.
Father's Day, Daddy. And put it in the room in the office there.
So the little girl is always there for an extra long squeeze. So it's just great. It's a great day.
All right, that'll wrap things up for episode 7 of Double OT. We'll post this online on WPRI.com and on our Twitter feeds at Mark Dondero, at Yianni Caracas, and on Facebook. Anything else you want to add?
You ask me that every week. I never really have anything to add, but next time I'll try to think of something to say at the end of the show.
5'9", by the way?
I'm 5'9" and 3/4, 3/5,
right.
officially.
I'm 6 feet.
He's taller than me.
If they tell me I'm 5'11" and 3/4 at the doctor, I make them redo it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a big difference.
Oh yeah, it's all kinds of different. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you on WPRI.com and download our podcast on iTunes when it becomes available. Stay tuned on that news. For Mark, I'm Yanni. We'll see you next time.